Of all the chilling stories we've ever told on Echoes Unknown, tonight's story easily ranks in the top 5. It's deeply disturbing, not because of graphic footage or visuals, but because of what happens, and who it happens to. So, consider this your warning. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. And if you're drawn to true stories that are strange, dark, and haunting, welcome. You've found your place. This is Echoes Unknown. In 1986, Tom Hawks was a 39-year-old father of 2 teenage boys, living in the sunny suburbs of Newport Beach, California. Divorced, but devoted to his sons, Tom was tall, rugged, athletic, and had the kind of mustache that belonged in a movie. One day at a local chili cook-off, he spotted a woman across the crowd, gorgeous, radiant. He couldn't stop staring. She noticed. She smiled. He blushed. But instead of retreating, Tom gathered himself and walked right up to her. Her name was Jackie. She was 29, single, and as it turned out, just as smitten. They fell hard for each other, and 3 years later, in 1989, they were married in front of 150 friends and family. Jackie moved in with Tom and his 2 sons, and quickly became their mother figure. She was nurturing, present, and deeply loving. Especially because, at 22, Jackie had been in a terrible motorcycle accident, one that left her unable to have children of her own. This family was her second chance, and she made the most of it. In 2002, the Hawks became empty nesters. Their boys had grown up and moved out. But Tom and Jackie had a plan. For years, they'd been saving every dollar they could, preparing for this exact moment. Their dream? To retire together, buy a modest yacht, and sail the California and Mexican coasts. They weren't rich, but they were smart, disciplined, and patient. They sold their home in Newport Beach, pooled every cent, and bought a worn but functional yacht, which they named the Well-Deserved. It wasn't glamorous, but it was theirs. For 2 years, Tom and Jackie lived a quiet dream, watching sunsets from the water, fishing, sipping cocktails, soaking in freedom. And then came news that changed everything. Their son was expecting a baby, their first grandchild. Jackie, who couldn't have kids of her own, was thrilled. So in late 2004, they decided to come back to land. They put the yacht up for sale, listed it in a boating magazine, asking for $500,000. A young couple quickly responded. Their names? Skylar and Jennifer Delian. Days passed after the supposed sale, but Tom and Jackie's sons, he heard nothing. That silence wasn't just odd, it was terrifying. Tom and Jackie always stayed in touch. Concerned, Tom's brother, Jim, a retired police chief, drove down to the docks in Newport Beach. The yacht was still there, the Well-Deserved, but it didn't look right. Lines hung over the side, control covers were missing, dirty towels stuck out of portholes. Tom, who kept the yacht immaculate, would never leave it like that. Jim left his card on the boat, asking for a call. Hours later, his phone rang. It was Jennifer Delian. She and her husband, she claimed, had purchased the boat, but strangely, they couldn't get in touch with the Hawks either. She mentioned they had forgotten some belongings and that they were trying to return them. Then she added, Tom and Jackie were planning to buy a house in Mexico, near Arizona, to be close to their son and the new baby. Still uneasy, Jim contacted Patricia, the woman who managed the Hawks' bills while they lived at sea. Had they deposited the $500,000? No, not a single cent had hit their accounts. Something was very wrong. Jim called the Newport Beach police. Investigators began with the obvious, Skylar and Jennifer Delian. Skylar, 25, had a record. Armed robbery. Time in prison. When questioned, he was polite, cooperative. He told police he paid the Hawks in cash, money he claimed came from childhood acting work, as an extra on Power Rangers, no less. But then, he cracked. He admitted it wasn't acting money. It was drug money, stolen from a kingpin. He'd hidden it before his arrest, and retrieved it later. Buying the yacht, he said, was a way to launder it. Surprisingly, police let Skylar go. No money laundering charges, for now. But something didn't add up. Days later, A couple in Mexico reported the Hawks SUV parked across the street. But it wasn't Tom or Jackie driving it. It belonged, according to the current user, to Skylar Delian. Police raided Skylar and Jennifer's home. They found Tom and Jackie's laptops, video cameras, personal items, things they never would have left behind. Jennifer, meanwhile, went on talk shows, claimed it was all a misunderstanding, but the walls were closing in. The notary, Kathleen Harris, eventually confessed she'd never met the Hawks. She was paid to backdate fake documents. Another witness, Alonzo Macon, also broke. He told the full story. Skylar wasn't laundering money. He was planning a double murder. November 15, 2004. Skylar, Alonzo, and a third accomplice, John Kennedy, a known gang member, lured Tom and Jackie onto the yacht for a sea trial. Tom, an ex-probation officer, was immediately suspicious. Skylar called Jennifer, who arrived with their baby girl. Jackie, softened by the sight of the baby, let her guard down. They boarded the yacht. Jennifer left with the baby. The trap was set. Far from land, in the quiet isolation of the open sea, Skylar and John lured Tom below deck. Jackie stayed in the kitchen, with Alonzo. Then came screams. Tom was being attacked. Jackie was tackled, handcuffed. They were dragged to the lower cabin. Tom was already restrained. Jackie pleaded, "We just met your wife. I held your baby. Why are you doing this?" No answer. Just tape, over their eyes and mouths. Skylar piloted the yacht to the deepest part of the ocean, 3,500 feet deep. On deck, under the open sky, Skylar forced them to sign away their yacht and bank accounts. Jackie deliberately misspelled her name, a signal she was signing under duress. Then, Skylar brought out the anchor. A long, heavy chain was attached to their handcuffs. Jackie begged for mercy. Tom tried to fight back, kicking Skylar. But they were overwhelmed. The anchor was lifted and thrown overboard. The chain screamed over the railing. It snapped tight. Then it dragged Tom and Jackie, alive, into the ocean. They were never seen again. Back on land, Jennifer and Skylar celebrated Thanksgiving with their daughter, using the Hawks' own video camera, taping over the memories of their victims. Jennifer and Skylar didn't just commit murder. They erased lives, then recorded over them. Justice did come. Alonzo received 20 years. Jennifer Hawks, life without parole. John Kennedy and Skylar Delian were sentenced to death. At Echoes Unknown, we tell these stories to remember, to warn, and to seek truth, even when it lives in darkness. If you found this story powerful, subscribe, share, and remember the names of Tom and Jackie Hawks. Until next time.